Good morning. I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're leaning on each other and God's Word through this difficult time. Our devotional thought for this morning is going to come from Psalm chapter 3. Psalm chapter 3, it's a psalm of David. I think it's very fitting for what we're going through. Starting in verse 1, it says, "O Lord, how many are my foes? Many are rising against me. Many are saying of my soul, there is no salvation for him in God. But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter of my head. I cried aloud to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill. I lay down and slept, and I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of many thousands of people who have set themselves all around me. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for you strike all my enemies on the cheek. You break the teeth of the wicked. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing be on your people." You know, you can break this really into three sections. The first section, David's explaining what's going on with him. He's saying, look, I have all of these things that are trying to get at me, that are tearing me down. You know, he says in verse 1, "O Lord, how many are my foes? Many are rising against me." You think about right now, not only are people dealing with the fear and the worry of possibly contracting the virus and then what that means for them and their health, but people are dealing with possibly not having a job. What are they going to pay the bills with? What is their job going to look like going forward? And most of us know that when this is all over, it's probably not going to go back to being exactly how it was before. We realize there's all these negative things that are just piling up, and we're all worried, we're all anxious, we're all trying to deal with this. But then in the second part of it, he remembers that God is the one that has delivered him in the past. In verse 3 he says, "But you, O Lord, are a shield about me, my glory and the lifter of my head. I cried aloud to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill." He says, look, I remember that in the past, what got me through difficult times was God. I know that he was the one that brought me through. I know he was the one that protected me and was a shield about me. And then he says in verse 5, "I lay down and slept, I woke again, for the Lord sustained me." Then he starts to transition. He encourages himself with this thought, and he says in verse 6, "I will not be afraid of many thousands of people who have set themselves against me all around." He says, because I remember what God has done for me in the past, that gives me the strength and the courage to face all of these things that are pressing down right now. And then he ends it in the third section with a prayer. What is his prayer in this? You know, he's got all this negativity, all this bad stuff that's facing him down, staring him down. And he remembers in the past that God has pulled him through. And so he turns to God again and he says in verse 7, "Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God. For you strike all my enemies on the cheek. You break the teeth of the wicked. Salvation belongs to the Lord. Your blessing be on your people." He says, look, God, rescue me. Get me out of this bad situation. Save me, protect me, help me. You know, for many of us, whatever that biggest thing that's in your mind, that is a lot of our prayer right now. As we go to God and we say, God, help me through this situation. Help me make it through. You know, I think you can see this in plenty of the Psalms. This is how God expects us to react. You know, my kind of normal way of looking at this is that when bad times come, the difference is whether or not you turn to God. When bad things hit, are you trying to fix everything yourself? Are you trying to take care of it yourself? Or are you turning to God and you're calling on God and saying, God, help me through this situation? So that's the thing that I want to leave us with this morning, is that, you know, just like the psalm writer, this happens to all of us. You know, not that everyone has to go through a pandemic, but everyone has to go through many things that just seem to pile up one on top of the other. And for us, the challenge, the thing that we need to focus on doing is going to God and taking our concerns to God, taking those anxieties, taking those worries, and asking God to come through. Because if we think about it, we've seen God work in other ways in our life before this. And so we count on Him. We let Him be that shield about me that He's been in the past. We expect Him and count on Him to do that in the future. And just like a good Father, He's going to come through when we turn to Him and when we ask of Him. I hope that everyone takes care of yourself. I hope that this has been encouraging to you. Obviously, we look forward to being on the other side of this and having the ability to get back and be together. Pray that you're taking care of yourself and that you're taking care of each other and that you're turning to God in all the difficult circumstances that you're going through.